Hey guys, it's Will here coming at you. A special video. We have the Mad Lad himself back on the stream here. Say hello.
Hey everyone, it's Callum.
And we're doing something very fancy today. What are we doing?
We're playing Auchtung Panzer. This will be the new game similar to Bolt Action, a World War II game with tanks.
Give us a smile. Thumbnail.
I have had a little bit of a look at the rules. A lot of this is going to be quite new for me, so we're doing a bit of a test game today. I'm going to be the new player. I think Will's had a little bit of a better look into this than I have, but this is still going to be... You have not played a game of this before.
I have not played a game, but I have seen, like, I forget what they're called. It's not On Point, but it's another one. They do a lot of historical games that are actually pretty good.
That's nice.
Where I got that geek mat from, but... Yeah, so this is our board. It's a simple intro game. It's smaller. It's supposed to be on a 6x4, but we're playing on a 4x4. So we're basically, for all rule purposes of the game, we're just going to half all measurements, rounded up or down. What do you want to do?
Up. Why not?
Yeah, okay. Round it up. And as you can see, we're also using some of the new buildings / old buildings that they did in bundles for the release of Panzer. So these are all the pre-painted farmhouse plus fences, and we have my broken glider that I made for the Pegasus Bridge. We're going to look at the tanks here, starting with Callum's, and he'll go over what his tanks are and what he's playing. These are going to be based off the starter box. Mm-hmm. So we're running purely what is in there, and I am horribly blocking sunlight.
Oh, you do what you can. I'm playing as the Germans, and I'm running 2 Panzer Ausfahrt A medium tanks. These ones are fun because they have, in Bolt Action, you'll recognize the super heavy guns, as well as some very solid front arm. But the downside, is I have it, is that I only have 2 tanks. When Will gets to himself, he'll show that he actually has 3. These tanks are very good, pound for pound. I am definitely ahead, but if I fall behind, if I get outmaneuvered, that's where I'm going to start having problems.
Okay, so here we go. As Callum was saying, I have my 3 here. The British side gets 3 tanks, so 2 Shermans and a Firefly. They're all going to be based off of the Sherman 5 chassis, so the tanks you see here are not exactly 100% what you're going to get. This one is the older Sherman, so the one before the 5. So that's why it's a little bit more rounder and shorted. This is again, in the last video I was talking about how the differences between the tanks. So this would be like the American Sherman, and this one would be the colonies and allied Shermans. Plus the Firefly with a special named character that was done for a charity in it. And of course, my data cards here. So going into that, we're going to be playing the intro mission for the box itself. It is a alteration of the one that's in the core rulebook. So if you bought the rulebook separately, you're going to basically have this mission.
I believe it's mission number 1, Armored Clash. The entire thing is just to knock out your opponents, whoever knocks out the most stuff. And deployment should be quite simple. We did have to have some distances. It's going to be tough to fit a tank into 3 inches, so we've kind of just agreed to deploy bottom to an edge and go from there.
Yep. So how we're going to do this video for the gameplay is we're going to play our turns. If anything comes up like a rule or an awesome event, like somebody pulled off an amazing dice roll or somehow has shot the other one from across the table with said dice in the eye or something, we will come back with the camera. If not, we'll come back and show you what happened for the round and what have you. So I think going into that, let's start with some dice rolling for our beginning stats and explain how that works. So we're readying here at the first stage. We're going to be rolling off for stars. So why don't you tell the nice viewers who may not have seen what this is, even though there's a bajillion how to plays. What are we doing? What are stars? Why are we rolling?
What we do is we have agreed that we're using medium troop quality tanks. Beyond that, what we have to do is then assign stars to the specific roles in the tanks. So for instance, do I have a 1-star green man? Do I have a 2-star trained person? Or do I have a 3-star veteran? That depends. That will influence how good they are at performing actions, which is their crew token. And we randomly generate them for each tank by rolling a d6. It gives us a bit of currency that we can use to spend on that individual tank's.
You shall start the roll.
Okay, so for leftmost Panzer tank, I'm using my lucky dice. Getting a 1. 1. So that means I have 4 stars to work with.
Boy.
That's not the end of the world. For the rightmost tank, we're gonna have a king and jester situation. I have 3. 3 translates to 5 stars. So sadly, my troop is going to be very, very rookie. For the first tank, for both tanks, I have to have at least 1 green person.
Yeah. So the game, you have to have at least 1 star on each crew member. Mm-hmm. There is a typo in the book that we did discover.
Mm-hmm. That was under acquiring crew grade stars.
Yeah.
I believe it had it so that you, in the example, they had it where you roll once and then assign that to multiple tanks.
Yeah.
The way you do that, you can't even afford the basic amount of 1-star people. So that's a small error, but we've sort of seen past it, and then we're going on with it. But for the first tank, my leftmost Panther A, I have 4 stars, which means I get a green person, and I get 1 trained user.
So where are you going to put those stars?
Okay, I've got an idea. On the first tank, I'm going to, because why not, I'm going to have my gunner be, that's a 3-star. I'm going to have my gunner be competent. The rest are going to be novice-y. We're going to see if that backfires or if that was the wrong call.
So what are stars and why do they have numbers?
The stars, that's just the game's shorthand of measuring how skilled a specific member of your crew is, with 1 star being absolute rookie, and 2 stars being competent, 3 stars being a veteran, and we're not using it for our first game, I don't think, but 4 stars represents ace tankers. Yes. Seriously skilled people. Not just lucky, seriously skilled.
And your second tank?
Second tank. No, here's the thing. I think I'm going to have to go for it to make up for the loss on this tank. I could take 1 green person and 2 trained people with 5 stars available. Keeping in mind, this is my currency to buy people. I'm going to go straight up, have 2 greens, and use the 3 to buy a veteran commander.
All right.
This is going to be my command vehicle.
I'm the one behind the screen now. But, yeah, so I'm going to be rolling for my stuff. I have my 3 tanks. I kind of want my Firefly to be my captain just because having that high star rating on there is going to have good shots and moving and stuff. Mm-hmm. So as Callum was saying, the star rating is kind of your veterancy level for your dudes. There's a plus number beside them. So better that plus number is, that is your crew test. So whenever you want to do, like, say, for those who play Flames of War, you want to do your maneuvers or your like scoot and shoot and stuff, you got to roll on a crew test. Well, that's why we're going to try to get, at least for the Firefly, we're going to try to get that commander and at least try getting them all 2-star. Mm-hmm. And then the other Shermans, we're going to just kind of see what they get.
Yeah. So
we're going to do that. I'm going to roll for my stuff one at a time here. So starting with the American Sherman, I'm just going to call that for ease of seeing.
Oh, that's perfect.
We're going to roll. Got a 4.
Nice.
Then the other Sherman, the British Sherman.
Ooh, also 6.
Yep. And then finally the Firefly, a 3.
That's not so bad. It gets you 5 stars. If you do have any veterans, they cost 3 stars. They have 2 up on their test, and I believe tanks get small bonuses for having a veteran in a slot.
So I'm going to go assign these, and because I have more. And we'll come back and we'll start the first turn. Hey guys, so we just figured out how to set up all the stars. We did our special ammunitions. I rolled super well, so my Firefly has like 7 special ammunition. And how much did you get?
I got, I rolled a 2, and I got +1 extra because of the Germans just in that time period would have had extra. I've put 2 special inside of my gun tank, the one that actually has a capable gunner, and for good measure, the other Panther has the other special ammo. Actually, super quick, where did you put your stars?
There's all my special ammunition, because when you roll for special ammunition, it can only, as far as aware is concerned, if you got, or aware, you guys know the rules better than us, please let us know down below. But have all my ammunition in there, because it's the only one that has special ammo. I have done some funsies. So for purposes of going through this, it's going to go starting from the top down. So just like if you play Balloons Tower Defense, you know this.
Oh, yeah.
So my Firefly is 2, 2, and 1. My American Sherman, which is J, is a 2, 2, and 2. And then my British Sherman is a 2, 1, 3.
And so we're now... I've set up on the board. This is where I've put my tanks. This is my gun Panther, and over here is my command Panther, currently hiding behind a building. And the only important rule in terms of line of sight is that if you think this could be bocage, or forest, we are treating this whole area as forest. If you can get half of your tank or more onto it, you've entered the forest.
Yes. Just because it's you don't want to risk breaking this thing. As hilarious as it would be to see a Panther on top of this thing like a freaking half pipe. But we don't have any driving aces, so that's not possible.
Yes, we are lore accurate here. So we are going to the beginning of the turn. Turn phases, initiative phase. I believe what this is we randomly assign
The markers.
the markers.
Yep. Just kind of like bolt action. There's for every tank that's in the game, you pull a marker. There's up to 12 for this because you can do like up to 5. Like each person gets 5, and then of course if you're Russian, you get like an extra. But the idea is for every tank, you take one of these markers, numbering 1, and for this version, it's 1 to 5. And the idea is you're supposed to shuffle them without knowing what they are, and you give 1 to each player for each tank they have. So I get 3, Callum would get 2.
Yes.
And then we would do a radio test. So we'll hand them out first, and then we'll do the radio test next. Go and shuffle.
Now, I believe we get to radio to see if we can interpret this information.
Yes.
We get to roll to see if we know what's...
Yeah, so you don't get to, with the radio test, you don't get to actually choose the numbers that they're going to be, but you do get to choose, you get to see what they look like, what your numbers are, and put them accordingly. And of course, you hide them from your opponent.
Yeah. So we each have 2 or more active tanks. We get to do this. Radio check. Table on the right side. We'll be referencing this one.
Zoom.
Nationally, the highest grade commander. So I have a German commander who is a veteran commander. This is actually really good for the radio test. I'm very likely to be able to do well on this.
That's normally how I've always seen them, is somebody makes one of their Panthers into a veteran commander, because you kind of need that.
Yeah.
So I'll let you roll first.
Yeah. So I believe, let me just do I have to get 2 or more. Do 2 or more. Yes, I can.
Yeah, that's a 3.
There we go. And there's a few other things. I'm always considered to have favorable conditions as a veteran commander. These tanks can see each other. There's nothing in between them. So I have succeeded this. I've passed.
As he's doing that, I'm going to go, I guess, and deploy my tanks. So that way I'm not looking at what he's doing. Okay. But when we come back, we will do my roll. Yeah. Hey guys, so it's my turn to roll. We looked at the chart. It's a 2 up, you said, for me?
Is a 4 up.
4 up, okay.
4 up for your guy. There's no intervening terrain.
Nope.
As you can see, this is sort of how you've laid out your tanks with the Firefly in the middle.
Yes. The Zoomy boy is right here because hopefully moving through the forest is going to be a breeze for him.
I hope so.
Hope so. I know my luck. And the shooty boy is over there.
Yeah.
So let's roll to see what I get.
Have a look. I've already taken 1 die from... I've already taken a token, and I've placed it next to one of my tanks.
Alright. Nope.
That's a 1.
That's a 1. There's my 1.
Good. So that's your failed... Sorry, that's a failed check.
I believe my tokens are just whatever I get is what I get. And I don't get to see what they are when I place them.
Yeah. Place a marker face down next to a tank. Yeah, just assign your face down tokens.
Okay, well, so I pull...
From the bag. You can include the one that I put back.
Yeah, so I'm just going to randomly shuffle them with my eyes closed. Tell me if I flipped any.
No, you're good.
Alright, I'm just going to pull whatever I touch. So I got 2 at least. Oh, there we go. Alright. We'll go back. Now we go on to the next part of the phase, which I think is where we flip this, because we're not playing with asset cards. I think at this point that's where the cards would come out. For the intro, I recommend not using them. They are going to be a lot of fun though. So I think let's just swap them and see what happens.
Sure.
So
start the game unbuttoned.
yes.
That's standard British doctrine, and I'm not a wuss, so we start unbuttoned. So I will reveal my tanks first.
Ooh.
Good old 5. And good old 2.
Ooh. So for Jay, we have 3. The Firefly we're going to save last.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it is in
fact...
I
have 1.
Hey, he goes first. It is right here on page 22.
And I have 4. So I have 1, 3, and 4.
1, 3, and 4. We've revealed markers. It's time to issue commands. You have your tokens in front of you?
I could, yes.
Yep. Shuffle them just so your opponent can't tell what one you're using. I'm going to assign my tokens right now. And we go from there.
All right. It's Will. We're doing actually something special for this one. So we're going to be hand bombing this camera, and we're going to kind of do this like a reality TV show. So how we're going to do this is we're going to have a video for the beginning of a turn, so the initial phase, and then we're going to have a video for after where we're together and we'll talk about what happened. So how I got it, as Callum kind of suggested it, is Zoomy Tank Boy with the 3-star driver is going to try to push up into the forest and get in there for cover and take a shot. I'm going to have my Firefly halt. It's going to sit there to try to take a pop shot or overwatch. And then my third tank, the one by the town, is also just going to move up to get into some cover. So with that, I'm going to go grab Callum. He'll tell you guys what he's going to try to do, and then we'll flip our activations and get right into it.
Fortunately, my plan is actually quite simple, because I have really good front armor, and I have really good guns. I'm going to try and form up a shield wall of sorts. I'm going to try and focus fire something down. And if things get more complicated than that, then I'll have to deal with that as it goes.
Okay, so we're back in the living room. We have both set what we're going to be doing this phase. So there's nothing more than just to actually flip the tokens and get right into the game. So who wants to flip? I guess I flip first,
You flip first. If you want me to give me a turn, go for it.
Okay. So I have to go through what I have initiative, right? So number 1 tank has to activate first.
Number 1's going first.
Okay, so if I remember this correctly and I'm not lying, this should be a go forwards.
Ah. Really should have seen this coming.
It says
fast driver is going forwards fast.
Fast. But yeah, with that, guys, we'll get right into it and we'll come back with the Carnage report after.
So here we are at the end of the first turn. As you can see on the board all around us, this turn has mostly been about positioning and getting ammunition prepared. None of my tanks have fired yet. Will, Mad Cat, Wildcat that he is, he tried to snap fire at this tank, but the second die betrayed him and his shot went wide.
Yeah, I rolled a like a 6 and like a 1 or something, or a 2.
It was
something.
a 6 and a 3.
Yes.
So it was a bit close. Poor man has gone from 7 special rounds to 6.
Oh no, single tier. Anyways.
I tried, but
yeah, I've loaded up some smoke rounds into my Sherman, so I just want to shoot his tanks with the smoke rounds so that he can't do nothing, just for the fun of it.
For the fun of it. As if it wasn't a great tactic. I was worried about this one. Since you have a super heavy and 2 small tanks.
Yep.
Time to vape.
Everyone's gangster till the Churchill starts vaping.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we figured out some rules, and we've learned some rules. Yeah. So why don't you kind of explain some rules that you learned that you think people should know?
One thing I learned, well, my whole thing is that I'm trying to cram a tank into this space. This is linear terrain. If you start your turn touching it, you can advance through it quite normally. If you don't start your turn on it and you try to go through it and advance through it, you have to make a driver test. And this actually messes over the gunner. If you're spotting someone or you're aiming and your gunner messes that up, then you have to take away the spotted token. You jumble it too hard.
Anyone who plays Hell Let Loose or even Battlefield understands this pain. Or Squad 44 too.
No longer spotted.
No longer spotted.
Yeah.
The rule that I thought was really cool was how the turns work. I really love the action phases, how they're being kind of like back and forth 3. You flip during the initial part of the turn. Mm-hmm. You do the whole flipping hidden turn stuff, and then you can choose to do whatever.
Yeah, it becomes normal. That's just a way of... It's cool. It's nice to have that suspense, especially paired along with revealing which tanks are activating first, second, third. And then if you have the halt action, and that's where if you have it revealed from the get-go, it's nice to just remember that it's there if you then move. And when you activate your tank, you do a movement, then an action. So that's something that we remedied really early on. Also, if it looks like we're crawling across the map, distances are halved. This is a small table.
Yep.
But yeah, otherwise that's where we're charging off to. We spotted, unspotted, tried to smoke me right off the bat.
Literally.
Yeah, and you got both of your slam fires.
Yes.
You decided to skip the line twice. So.
Like a. I'm not going to finish that.
There you go.
But
medium tanks, you can attempt to just so on your card you have ammo rack into the loading position, into the ready to fire position. I've been very careful because I really don't want to mess up my guns. Will's just making the checks for the gunners, and you can just straight up load it.
Yep.
Save some time.
So we'll get right into the second phase here. We'll clean up the board, and we'll come back and talk about what we're going to do for the next round to start, and we'll see you guys at turn 2. There'll be so much editing to this video. So hey guys, it's Will. I'm here. I'm in a different room. It's gonna be funny to go to different rooms, but we just did turn 1, and I'm pretty much lined up how I want to be. But I kind of want to basically. Sorry for the shaky cam. Arms. I'm tall. I'm holding it up above my head. So, anyways, I want to do some shenanigans. I want to keep that smoke loaded in. And I'm going to try to shoot him with it still so that my Firefly can have a safe entrance just to kind of scoot around and hit him in the side. Because I only have 7 shots because that special ammo are 6 now. So both the Sherman M4A3s, whatever, are going to go left and right to kind of pincer. And the Firefly is going to stay in the center to act as a distraction noodle to kind of shoot at his tanks to blink at them. So that's why I plan, and I hope I get that like sort of double turn again where I had like 3 and 4, so we'll hopefully get that again. We're going to be trying using playing cards for randomizing because that's how you're supposed to kind of do it, is use a bag to pull the tokens out, or playing cards is definitely going to be a lot easier. So we're going to go get Callum, he'll tell you guys what he's going to do, and we will see you guys at the end of his thing in turn 2.
Okay, turn 2. I see some targets, and I'm starting to put up a shield wall. I think it's time to just aim, shoot, and go from there. I'm a little bit worried that he's sneaking somebody around the side. I can't see him, and because it's going to elimination, I'm going to see if I can get rid of everyone else before it becomes a problem.
We just finished our match. We're sitting here on the floor, because why not?
Yeah.
Our friend back there, as you can see, he wave. But yeah, we just finished it. Kind of had to cut a little bit short, but that's fine. We had fun. We did some speed round rules, so that's going to affect a little bit of our play, but it was basically super simple to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So especially since we played bolt action before, so there is a little bit of difference to it that you do have to kind of like wipe your mind clear of, but that's in a good way because it simplifies a lot. Like a lot of the special rules, like for a Panther, it has a thin side, so it's like actually an extra +1 to hitting armor. Mm-hmm. But in the data cards or in your rule book, if you have it on the back of the chart, it has that already written into the ruling. So it's very much pick up and play. It is 5th edition D&D of a tank game, or if you played World of Tanks, you'll be used to this game system. So, which did you know originally Warlord Games was actually supposed to make a World of Tanks game, and that's why Tank Wars came out.
Ah, yeah. I didn't know that, but
yeah. World of Tanks, the miniatures game, was supposed to be made by Warlord, and then I think they pulled a a Blizzard with like a Warhammer Blizzard scenario with Warcraft.
Okay.
So they went and made Tank Wars instead, and then, Wargaming made their own actual miniature game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your thoughts on this?
I really enjoyed that, and that was a fairly short game, but that wasn't a bad thing. I mean, every time you get a new rulebook, every time you look through and you see, I really struggled reading through and trying to figure out sort of, transitioning from spotting to aiming and whatnot. Actually playing it, seeing it with the models, that wasn't so bad. That was totally doable. Like
Spotting is very important, as we've learned.
Yeah. But you can snap fire and you can still do work with it. It's
Yep.
just I thought that was going to take too long to get familiar with the rules. The first round took just over an hour.
Yeah.
The second round was 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna have to cut it at the end of round 2. But all the same, you'll be able to pick this up.
It is great. Yeah, I loved it. I definitely want to play more of it. It feels like if I want to play a kill team version of Bolt Action, and I don't want to play Firefight, which I highly recommend checking out. It's a free fan-made thing that they did. So if you guys have a squad of Bolt Action, you can basically play kill team. But if you don't, and you want a standalone game, and maybe you like historical, and you especially like the tank side of things, like you have Tamiya models, they did come out and state that this game was designed in mind that you can use multiple sizes of tanks. Like, you don't have to stake. Basically, the general idea is as long as you kind of keep the tanks around the same scale. So like if you do all 135s, 48s, 100s, you just do like what we did, which is change the measuring accordingly, and which was very simple to do, actually.
Yeah, that wasn't so bad at all.
So if you guys want to play this, and like maybe you have somebody who bought a box on like a pre-order and got the free PDF, and you want to try the game yourself, and you have some like Tamiya models or Rubicon or the World of Tanks miniature game of Flames of War, I highly suggest checking this game out. It's a lot of fun. It was very great. I actually really enjoy this. I think this is my favorite starter box / game I've bought from Warlord, or even any mono game system out there. Yeah.
High praise.
It is very high. It's good.
No, this is good.
You get great sized models. They're awesome to build. They look awesome. The rule set is amazing. You get the full size rule book. You get data cards for your stuff. You get 2 buildings. Like the terrain that we used on this table is equal. Basically, just add the fence, and you have about an extra little mini building, and you have about the same. I know I'm saying like, oh, add this, and this, and it's like, it's like the whole cereal thing. It's a healthy breakfast, and it's surrounded by vegetables. It's like, no, you basically get the same amount of footing with the buildings that you get inside the box that you would have. That we had here. You just add the fence.
Oh yeah, like I saw that was the gray models in the box. Yeah, everything you need would be in the box then. Obviously you got the extra set.
Yeah, they had them as pre-order for the pre-painted buildings.
Very cool. Yeah, those ones are quite nice. Because it's tanks, you didn't really get a look into it.
Yeah.
I'm sure at some point you're gonna.
I'll use them for bolt action also.
Oh yeah.
They have interiors.
Yeah, you can open them up. You can use that one as well. Just within the box, you have enough to play. You have enough to play a good game as well. And you're talking about how they sort of incorporate all the armor values, all of the gun stats. They do that extremely well. This was the thing that I only really noticed recently. If you look from page... Oh, it's not numbered. Try.
Yeah, because it's meant for you to scan them, basically.
Yeah, I guess
it's like the index, basically, the back index.
Yeah, I guess I can just kind of show it. In the back index, they have every faction's tank listed.
Yep.
That is currently usable. So, as mentioned, if you have your own models, you can use them. They will have stats, and they'll have armor values for tracks, for turret zones, for hull. They have it all here, and they also have all the weapons for all the vehicles.
Yep. If you're used to the old charts like 40K and stuff like that, or Fantasy, or even some other older games like D&D 2nd Edition, the charts are great. Though I still would recommend if you can get the rulebook from somebody or buy it, because it's going to be like $30. It's dirt cheap to buy the rulebook by itself. Plus it comes with the cards you'll need, like the event cards and stuff.
Yeah, they're right here. Yeah, you can scan them and print them out.
Even if you buy this book by itself from Warlords, it comes with the printed cards and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So you'll come with basically just the pieces, the tokens in the book from the starter box. So you can go straight from that. I'd recommend that. But if you want to actually play with models, buy the tank box sets. They're such a great deal. You get like, I think with the British one or the American one, you get I think one or two more extra Shermans. This game is designed to be played as a match game, but again, with every historical Warlord game too, it's a campaign system. So your crew, like in our one game where you just shreked my Sherman.
Yeah.
They got out they got out scathed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Slightly singed, but they got out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they made it out. So, yeah. Yes, that's cool. And then you can run around. And
Yep.
yeah, I guess because it's I don't want to say derivative. That's not exactly it, but it's from bolt action. As mentioned, you can use all the parts with your bolt action stuff. Maybe good combat engineers, probably.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It definitely is. The smell of bolt action is on it, but it is definitely its own game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, any highlights of the match that you want to talk about?
There was some. That was a fun match. I really enjoyed that, just for starters. My big worry was that it was going to become two Shermans zipping around smoking my tanks.
Vaping, which they did.
Absolutely, yeah. E-cigaretting behind the dumpster, and yeah, so that my tanks could barely see anything. But then I had my breakthrough moment where I was able to clear off some smoke just by having my tank wait around for a bit. I disabled the movement on your one Sherman, and then when it was stuck, I was finally able to pin him with the other guy.
I got world tanked. I freaking got sniped my track from out of nowhere and then just instantly exploded.
Just
the Firefly could not do anything, and then you hit the jugular freaking of my. No, you hit the hot water container of my freaking Firefly, which scolded my commander. Mm-hmm. So it dropped it down from 3 stars to 1.
Yeah,
or like 2 stars to 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't do any damage, but
you did damage.
Yeah. Demotion.
Demotivated, morale damage. The teapot is gone.
Why even continue?
Why continue living?
Yeah, that was good, but those were just moments from my side. What were your favorites?
Those would be mine too.
Yeah.
My shenanigans of trying to pincer you to like freaking smoke bomb you so that my Firefly had free reign to snap you.
Oh, well, it was getting to that point.
Yeah.
If
I could have had time to spot you with my Firefly.
Oh, it would have been a different game entirely.
Yeah. If you didn't button me, I would have been able to spot you.
Yeah, and then was your Firefly 5th in initiative?
Yeah, in the last round, it was the last to go.
Because that was one thing. There's tactics here. What you could have done was waited for me to try and clear off my smoke, and then the second I didn't have the smoke, and it had already obstructed my shooting, then you go in for the kill that's already aimed.
Yep.
And that would have been a huge issue.
Yeah, I just never had the chance to do it.
Yeah.
I should have just waited for a shot instead of just taking snapshots, but well.
It's fun. And you got all your slam fires on him too.
Yep.
You got 3 shots off of them?
Yep.
I got 4 off in the entire game.
I got a Saints Gloria high school girl in there slamming rounds in the Firefly. Which anybody who watched Girls on Panzers is super into tanks understands that reference being horrible because Saints Gloria is supposed to be the American school.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a Firefly.
Oh, so it's that.
Well, anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this review and let's play of Panzer, Auchtung Panzer. If you guys want to see more like this, or maybe you want to watch a full like raw footage setup, I can kind of work that up. Maybe find a day where we can come in during the day where there's more light, because the season is changing, so it is getting better for lighting in here.
Yeah.
But if not, and you got this far, thank you very much. But there is one. But special announcement that was just released today by the official Warlord Facebook page and Twitter page, which they've already, if you've seen the last videos or watched like the Snafu podcast, they announced that this year in September, 3rd edition Bolt Action is coming out. So it is a huge news from Warlord Games. Everybody is going crazy for it on their social media, allegedly. So much so that continuing till September, they're not going to be working on anything else unless it's something that they've already announced that's coming out, at least for the bolt action people, or if they have already made it and printed it, that's going to be coming out. But like, they haven't announced anything past Case Blue, so So with that, it's they're going to be coming out with a brand new rule set. We're basically getting the 8th edition treatment going from 7th to 8th from Warhammer.
Oh, yeah.
But they did come out and made it a very hard fact that we're not going to be getting the 8th edition treatment. If you kind of understand what I'm trying to say here, we're going to get the treatment, but we're not going to get the treatment. So all your stuff is going to be valid. They're just going to be tweaking points, ruling. The rule book is going to be laid out just like 2nd edition, so all your major factions, including Japan, is going to be in the back. The coolest part about this, I love, and they should have done this with 2nd edition, but they only did it with the Germans, was every faction coming from the start is going to get an army book over time. So they're not going to release them all at once, but they're going to be very close.
Okay.
And every faction, including the Italians and French, are going to get a 3rd edition book, which will have all the units that are playable, and they're going to kind of keep, and ones that kind of make sense to be usable in all theaters from the campaign books, including 2, is going to be in these books, updated to match 3rd. We're still going to have blast tank plates, we're still going to have order dice, but everything from campaign books and your army books are going to be updated in their national book.
Yeah.
And even before that, they're going to release PDFs for free to use for the rules.
Very cool.
So everything's going to get updated, you're going to get your books. And then theater selectors is how you're going to get your army rules.
Yeah, you mentioned this was the thing you talked about just to me earlier, which is typically when you play bolt action, you make an army, it belongs to a nation, and then they have set special rules, and it's more like special rules are found in units.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of the diversity of the options comes from.
Yeah.
So with what you know at the moment, because things could change,
Yep.
how is it different this time around?
So instead of it where you have your normal rules where it's like, say you choose Germans, just universally the army, no matter what theater you play in, you have Buzzsaw, Officer Training, Blitzkrieg, and Tiger Fear.
Yeah.
So how I've read it and people have kind of talked about it is, depending on what theater you select, so like a Western Desert, Western Front, Eastern Front, your platoon, where it's like you can have 1 HQ, 2 troops, so on and so forth, that will slightly change to match it, and that is where your army special rules will be. So your Western Front rules might have, because you're playing in France and stuff, will have your Blitzkrieg, your officer training, whereas if say you're in the Eastern Front, you might have Tiger Fear and Hitler's Buzzsaw. And then maybe a penalty like your officers and stuff are starving, so your morale is -1 or something.
Yeah.
And then you go to your Western Front, and that could be like your fast light infantry stuff. So you get shoots in squad exclusively in this unit. All your machine gun guys can become shoots in. Maybe you can't take certain light tanks, but you get Hearts of Hull, like that Italian special rules, the Heart of Iron, where if you charge stuff, you get bonuses, like that artillery one where you can do stuff.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that would basically choose how you get it. So that would make the game super accessible, because you can literally be like, I want to play Western Desert British. Literally, here's your army list, what you can take with your rules, go. And that way you don't have to worry about mixing the wrong units in, especially if you're not into the historical side. Because I'm not a historian, but I do like to build my list based around that same era, or what would actually be there. So if somebody who's new that comes in, they can literally be like, okay, I think these stuff is cool, but I like this theater. So you don't have somebody who's playing Blitzkrieg buying a Tiger by accident.
Yeah.
You can be like, no, you get these specific vehicles in this theater, and they get these rules. But yeah, that was it for the news for me. Do you have any thoughts on the news of 3rd edition?
I'm excited. I want to see if, just from the games I've played, I want to see if they're going to consider like weapon teams of 3 people as small units.
I wonder that too. I hope they remove it so snipers can't just one-shot your mortars or your machine gun twos or your howitzers.
Yeah, we didn't play with the sniper in our game that we played, but that was the thing you told me about. Now that seems really powerful.
I hope they take the 2.5 community rules and add that to.
I hope they give. Yeah, sorry. I hope they give snipers -1 AP on soft targets. I don't know. Like,
I can see that. Like, remove all the like shenanigans of you just always hit on a thing and like the range, but like in exchange you get a +1 pen or something like that to soft targets.
Yeah,
So it's like technically you don't get the +1 to the roll, but it's treated like you hurt something as if it did.
Yeah, it's much exactly that wouldn't let you damage armored cars.
Yeah.
But it would. I've talked.
Or you ignore cover, like soft cover.
Exactly, because when having a look at some, I've only looked at forums. I have no experience with snipers, so take that grain of salt. But I would find it annoying if I had a super accurate unit which failed to get kills because it can't deal with armor.
Yeah. Well, you are basically paying for the same price as an MMG with a sniper. So it's either do you get a lot of shots, which the machine gun team should give a lot of pens, especially the German ones.
Oh yeah.
They should give you like a D3 pens, and then like the normal one does D2 or something.
Yeah.
Or like just flat 2, even if you don't hit. Because I believe that's how their rules. One of the tournaments ruled it that way. Was if you shoot with a unit with an LMG or an MMG, the unit automatically gets a pen or a pin even though it doesn't hit, and if it does hit, it gets an extra.
Yeah.
Like it should do that, but yeah, it's the change. Do you get accurate shot or do you get multi shots, and they're both like 50 points.
Yeah, that would be a good way to do it. And I'm excited to see what they do. They'll probably tease things.
Yep.
And we'll be keeping our eyes and ears out.
But I think that is it. Callum has to go, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
It's sad, but thanks for the game. That was really fun. The
People
bottom
seem to
line is
like
that
you.
this is fun. Oh,
So
I'm quite glad. Thank you.
most of my videos with you on it have got lots of views. So
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you.
gotta extort your friends for views.
If you can't do that, what are you doing?
Yeah. So with that, guys, we will see you next time in these videos. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye-bye. Click the video. Click it. Click the video. You know you want to. Click it.